Hello everyone, and welcome to another SFM Conversations with me, Rob Sewell, Shape Your Future Online. And today I'm really excited to speak with Andy Wilson, who is a fellow SFM member who met a couple of times recently, haven't we, Andy?
We have indeed, mate. Yeah.
I think at the Gold and at the Elite events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So great to see you, Andy. I know it's what is it, Friday evening?
Yeah.
But both of us, we're not going out. We're just relaxing with family tonight. So we'll have a bit of a chat, and then we can go and kick back with the families.
Sure.
If we can dive straight in then, Andy, maybe we can talk just a little bit about yourself, who you are, and how you've got to be here in the SFM and talking with me today.
Yeah, man. Totally. Right. Well, crikey. I've been involved with SFM now just over a year. It was October 2017 that I first, got involved. And I was in a really rough place, pretty frustrated, really, really unfulfilled and quite bored with what I was doing. Just really questioning the way that society works in general, really, because everyone seemed to be just constantly going round and round on this hamster wheel and just accepting that as the way it is, and I was like constantly asking the question of myself and other people, why is that all there is? It's like, why is this the only option for me? I'm like, it can't be. It absolutely cannot be, because otherwise I would not feel this frustrated and bored and out of alignment with where I feel I need to be in life. And I was pretty uptight about it all, because it had built up over a number of years, you see. And I kind of found myself in a place of developing physical symptoms as well, because it was starting to affect my health. It was starting to really niggle away at me in ways. It was seeping into my home life. Mm-hmm. It was affecting my relationship with my partner. I'm a real positive person. I love my family, and I was hating to think of myself as someone who was letting that affect my relationship and my relationship with my kids too. I've got two children, Ella and Jake. Ella's 11, Jake is 6, and I love them to bits, obviously, like most parents would say. And I started to realise that they were, because I was working so much, having to sort of constantly keep that wheel turning of earning the money, I was starting to realise that they were adapting to me not being there and kind of almost feeling more comfortable with me not being there, mm-hmm. because that's more what they were used to. And it was like one day I heard my little boy, Jake, chatting to Ella, and they were packing their toys away in their bags, getting ready to go away for a week in the summer holidays. And I was working, I wasn't going with them, but I overheard this conversation, and Jake was saying to Ella, "Oh, is Daddy coming with us?" And Ella just quite flippantly said, "Oh, no, Daddy won't be coming with us. He always has to work. He won't be coming." And she didn't know that. She just automatically assumed that. And there was something about that, the way that she just assumed that, and it was like so normal to them that I wasn't going to be there. And that made me realise that was like, no, this is going too far. I know I'm unhappy anyway, and it's starting to affect my relationships and my children's perception of me as their dad. And one day I just, because I was freelance at the time, I just decided, right, enough's enough. I'm going round and round, and as long as I just keep working, I'm never going to find a solution to this, because all I'm doing is going to work and coming home. I'm too tired to do anything, and I'm back the next day. I'm never going to find a solution unless I just stop, pull out of the spin. And I did. I just stopped one day. I decided to refuse the bookings, but previously I'd saved up enough money to just support me and my family for a couple of months, because I was resolute in finding a solution to this. And I thought, right, I've got a couple of months to at least just find some kind of direction for myself, or let the dust settle. And I really, really felt so strongly about it that I kind of said to Helen, actually, the day before I stopped working, I said, do you know what? I absolutely know there's something out there for me. I can feel it. It's like pulling me in my chest. It's like, and as I was saying it, I can remember standing there in our kitchen and I could feel it just pulling me. I was like, I don't know what this feeling is. I just don't know what it is. So I said, but do you know what? I know that as soon as I stop, it will find me. And I really did believe that. And I didn't even know what I was saying. But I was like, it was all I had. It was just, at that point, I was so clueless as to what the way forward was for me that I was just saying what I had to say, and that was it. It was like, well, there's something, and I don't know what it is. Anyway, within a couple of days, it was, of stopping work, I was watching Alan Watts on YouTube. I'm a massive fan of Alan Watts. And I was watching that because it was giving me a shift of perspective, giving me the comfort I felt I needed in order to realign myself and just at least relax enough to see a way forward for myself. But then up popped an advert on YouTube. And I obviously just found myself watching that advert. And I'm so anti-advertising. Especially having worked in advertising as an art worker for several years, it's like, the last thing I want to be watching is an ad. And it just captivated me because the person on this ad was talking about everything that I was telling Helen that I thought was out there for me. And I was like, you're kidding me. You have got to be joking. I mean, I've stopped work for 2 days and then I'm like, this just pops up. It was crazy. So there, I found myself like clicking on that and following through. And I was really, really untrusting of that for quite some time. And when I say quite some time, it felt like some time because I wasn't working at the time. It was probably a couple of weeks. I was really looking into the SFM and what their education is, and it all looked great. But I was like, what's the catch? What's the catch? Scepticism, like, through the roof. Mainly because I think I'd come in through clicking through an ad, something I'd always actively avoided. And but just slowly over time, I was just given more and more reason to just let that guard down. And the more I let that guard down, the more information come in. And the more I saw, the more I just trusted. And then when I got involved with the community that's attached to the education and the support network, the mentorship and everything, my level of trust just went up very, very quickly. And I found myself in quite a different situation of feeling like, actually, this is quite scary how much I trust this now. Because all of a sudden I'm like mistrusting my trust, if you like. It's like, well, this is crazy. I haven't got any of the answers. Let's just kind of go with it. And so I just let my skepticism down because I thought, well, if I don't look and find out, I'll never know. And all I know is that if I go back to what I was doing before, that isn't going to make me happy, you know? And here we are, Rob, a year later.
I relate to so much of that as well. I mean, especially when you're talking about the health aspects as well, things manifesting in you and the relationships that you start to have with your partner and your children, and you realize they're not the relationships that you want to have. You become, you're frustrated, you're tired, you're not in the right space, are you? Sometimes, and it really does affect your wife and your children as a man. And for me as well, coming into the SFM, just like you, I was watching fairly spiritual stuff on the internet. Everyone knows that I'm in well, I always will be in recovery, but I was, really, really in an active period of recovery and trying to find out, what my next moves in life should be, and really looking to embrace something new. And SFM for me, I found was that it wasn't just an online education. It was so much more than that. And I can remember on some of those early live webinars, I mean, I broke down and cried on one of them because I actually understood that I was in the right place.
Totally.
For people to push me forward. And I know you feel very much the same after conversations that we've had, because it's really all coming together through the self-development that we go through. So I was going to ask you, you know, I mean, from when you started to kind of where you've got to now, from I think you've been sort of on this journey for, what is it, about a year, something like that now?
Yeah, yeah, just over a year. Yeah.
I mean, what kind of shifts have you had in your self-development, which have come about? I mean, obviously it's the work that you do for yourself, but it's come about through the people that you meet throughout the community in SFM.
Oh, so many, so many, so many. But yeah, the biggest shifts has, as you say, come about through who I've met, because it's only through encountering different perspectives and realizing that you're not alone in doing this, and realizing the power of getting together with people, masterminding ideas, and sharing tips and helping each other out. You actually realize become to realize slowly what is possible. And this is something that you can never realize until you actually experience it, you know? Like, I mean, when I first got involved, like I said to you before, I came here to look for an alternative way to earn a living, maybe a way that I could earn a living from home and cut out the commute and see a bit more of my family. But essentially it was all about earning a living. It was about replacing my income. It was so I could just drop that and do this. And it was money driven, totally money driven. And I slowly, well, actually I say slowly, it wasn't slowly, quite quickly actually became to realise that there's so much more to this. And I've got for several years, I've been quite closely connected with the practice of Zen Buddhism. Mm-hmm. And this is something that has made such a massive difference in my life. And it's something I've been in, I say I was heavily involved in it for about 7 years, and that was when I was in my late 20s. Mm-hmm. I'm now in my mid 40s, and it's still something that really affects my everyday life. It's something I've carried with me, that has supported me, and that will never leave me. It's something I always hold value for. I always hold space for that. And I started to realise when getting involved with SFM that there was so much about it that was just speaking to me on that level, on the level of, I'm like, hang on, this is business. This isn't spirituality. Because in my world, money and spirituality were two different worlds. Mm-hmm. In my previous limiting belief, that's where I was. And also, more to the point, money was intrinsically connected with corruption. And that was one of my massive blockers in never being as successful as I could have been, because I always had a fear of earning and making that money, because I saw it as involving myself in a world that I just didn't want to be involved in. And then I started to understand that all of that was just my story that I was telling myself, limiting no one else but me, and the potential of for my family to be happier with me, because I could go out and earn a living and be fulfilled and be developing myself personally and spiritually all at the same time, and all from the same place. There's no more divide anymore between the work Andy and the spiritual Andy, or the work Andy and the downtime Andy, relaxing with family Andy. The point is, there's just Andy.
Yes, yes.
Right? And that oneness, that being what I doing what I am, is just that there's no split. I wake up in the morning, I'm myself until I go back to bed. I don't have to become someone else for 9-10 hours and then find some way of getting my head back to who I was before I left the house in the morning to come home. You know, there's just Andy now. And that to me is a massive, massive weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, I relate to that as well. I mean, we obviously, we talk to a lot of the same people. I think we read a lot of the same books as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to watch a lot of the same YouTube videos, I'm sure, from what you're saying. But I used to live in all of these boxes: the husband box, the father box, the work box, the friend box. You know, and eventually I always say this, I found the alcohol and cocaine box, I got inside it and I locked the door for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Tried to destroy myself. And now, for me, there are no boundaries at all. Everything is just one thing. I'm just truly, authentically myself. That's the thing. When when have we ever been authentically ourselves in the past? We just haven't, have we?
No, and do you know what?
In different situations.
The thing is as well, I know that I never questioned the fact that I couldn't do that until fairly recently. I mean, a few years ago. You know, I mean, I must have reached into my 40s before I actually asked the question, why can't I be myself all the time? Because I didn't even realize that I was being the work me and the home me and the making music me and the being with my friends me. Even though some people would point out that I would be different depending on who I'm with. And I'm like, well, of course I'm different because it's just bringing out different facets of my personality. But it never actually led me to actually ask the question, well, why isn't that possible? Why can't I be so authentically, not even thinking about it, me, all day? And because the reason why I never questioned that is because it's so apparently just the way it is that it's so ingrained in us that we have to do that we just don't even question it, you know. And it's just, you just kind of assume that that's the way. It's just not the way it is at all. And then my point is that losing that makes me realize that I had no idea what a burden I was carrying with that. No idea at all. And then to just shed that, it's like, oh, what a sigh of relief. It's so much less effort, isn't it?
Absolutely. You can live, what is it? It's Guy Nilan say it, Guy Nilan Furman from Satori Prime, live life from a position of ease and grace.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to get to. It's
absolutely. And there lies the seeds of abundance as well, right?
Absolutely. But but this is the kind of things that we learn within SFM, isn't it? And to be truly authentically yourself, that's how you're really going to succeed online as well. You know, if you want to be the face of your business, to be truly authentically yourself, then that's what's going to help you succeed, because people will follow you. Some people won't like you. That's fine.
No, totally.
A lot of people will like you and follow you, and that's how you can create a good business online.
Yeah, and we can remain totally consistent to our every word and our every promise without even trying. We don't even need to think about that, because anything that's ever said in the first place is only said from the heart and what we truly believe in, which is aligned to our personal values and that has come from our experience in life. And that's self-evident. It can't be denied. That can't be changed. That can't be taken away from us. And to just sit back and just rely on who you are as being the driving force of your business is that for me was the mind-blowing thing that really got me, actually, that really got me hooked, because I thought, well, that means that even I can do this.
Exactly. There's only one you, isn't there?
Yeah, it's what?
There's only one you.
Absolutely, yeah. And everyone else is taken, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. But that's something that I've learned as well, because I thought that maybe working in this online space, it would be, everything would be really competitive, because you go into a corporate workplace, everything's competitive, everything's about you moving up. It's about having little cliques at work, who can move up the quickest. Some people are never going to make it in the company. Some people, you think, well, they're made because they're brown nosing with the right people. And then I came into SFM and thought, well, wait a minute, everyone's kind of trying to be doing this affiliate marketing. Everyone's going to be competing against each other. And what you find is it's completely the opposite, because when you understand that you are the only you, that you can be authentically yourself, then there is no competition, because there's only you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it as well is I came into this not having a clue where I was going to take it. I mean, affiliate marketing is a way to begin to learn how to communicate with people and to, earn some money as you begin to learn that skill. But to me, that's an entry point. I see this as going somewhere which is going to be so much more aligned with who I am, and it's going to sort of take me to a place of doing what I've always wanted to do. But you know what? It's okay that I don't know what that thing is. Because I'm on a path where I'm finding that out, and slowly but surely I'm finding things out about myself literally every single day. I was like, I've never been able to say that. And then, you know, I'm in a year, my entire, I met Stuart Ross recently, and I actually said to him, Stuart, thanks so much for creating what you've created here with SFM, because you know what? It has completely changed my life. We're not talking necessarily about a money point of view. Forget money. I'm talking about, I'm genuinely happy. And a year ago, I was on the verge of nervous breakdown. And my family, I could have lost everything. I was at the point of really going on a spiral of self-destruction, if I'm honest. It sounds like you've had much the same journey, you know.
Oh yeah.
Quite an extreme one yourself. So. Yeah, and it's a scary, scary place to be, isn't it?
But it's like, you know, I didn't know what it was. I told you that story before of when, you know, I had about a year out of recovery from my addiction, and I was ready to go back to work. The only thing that I knew to do was to go back to sales. Well, it wasn't. I thought about, I'd quite like to be a teacher or something like that. But then we talked about these golden handcuffs. I can make 4 times the amount of a teacher by working in sales. So I've got to go back to sales. It's the only thing I know how to do to make a decent income. But after that interview, I just started crying because I knew that I couldn't go back down that path that I'd been on, because I'd only manifest the same kind of results.
Yeah, right.
I really thought that was it for me. But I didn't know what it was that I could do. I just didn't know.
At that point of realizing,
given me the space to find that out, like yourself.
At that point of you realizing that, where you thought, if I actually go and get this job that I've just interviewed for, you're just going to manifest those results. And then you said you broke down in tears, right? And at this point that I'm at, I understand that. But at the time, what did you think was causing those tears? Is that more of a retrospective look on it, or at the time did you actually know that, or did you just feel something and it made you burst out? You know, was it more of an intuitive thing?
It was an intuitive thing, because I knew I was scared that I would go back down the path of addiction. That's how serious it was. That's what I thought was going to happen. I could just feel it. I just knew it.
Yeah, totally.
I knew that I couldn't go back to that lifestyle of traveling and working and the pressure that I was under and putting myself under through that kind of work. I just knew that.
And at that point, when I was at that point, I found that terrifying, because I knew I didn't want to go and do that, but at the same time, I didn't know what any other solution was for me.
Absolutely.
Mortgage needs paying. It's, you know, the reality of life is still there, knocking at your door every day, and you've got to find a solution. And it's terrifying. You know, you have a family to support, not only monetarily, but emotionally. And you're thinking that I'm going to fail on all accounts at this rate. You know, I've not got any answers whatsoever. That was terrifying for me to actually reach that realization. It sounds like I associate my realization of that with that point where you felt like you just broke down in tears after the interview. You know, that realization of you.
Absolutely, but as we say, you know, coming into the SFM has given us that space. You know, you earn while you learn. Yeah, and then you start to self-develop. Now I understand. I mean, I know what I want to do now. I want to do life coaching. And also the time freedom I've got gives me the space to be able to continue doing charity work with people with drug and alcohol problems, so giving back. And that in itself helps me to stay sober and clean as well. So it's just fantastic. But I'm finding all of this out as I go along.
That's lovely.
I would have never thought that I could be a coach and help people. But I now know that I can.
Fantastic. You know? Fantastic. I know what you mean, because I'm coming across skills I've got with communication with people, because I'm pushing my boundaries of being comfortable and doing what I know. I'm finding it very easy to just edge that comfort zone slowly out. And in doing that, I'm finding out so much more about myself and realizing so much more opportunity for the future for myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, so many skills that I'm sort of thinking, I had no idea that I'd be able to do that, let alone enjoy it. You know, and it's like, it is a real journey of self-discovery as well as education, isn't it? I mean, not
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. The biggest shift for me has been the level of growth that I feel I've felt in myself over the past year, and I wasn't even looking for that. I didn't know I needed it.
Yeah, you don't though, do you? We just go through life with the blinkers on. So to wrap this up then, Andy, sort of like one last question that I always ask people is, you know, what kind of advice would you give for someone who's thinking about a change, thinking about getting started in the online space, and what it takes to do that?
Well, it's a pretty easy thing to get involved with, of course. I think that the thing is, well, so I can speak certainly from the point of view of SFM anyway. I remember from my point of view, when I was getting in, I was thinking to myself, I was massively skeptical. I was, this is too good to be true kind of mentality coming into my head. For me, it was a matter of knowing that, you know what, I'm unhappy. I haven't got the answers. What is it going to hurt me to just give this a go? Because there was the 30-day money-back guarantee. I was like, I've got 30 days to look into this. And then after that, at worst case, I've even only spent $29 or something. It's like, I'm like, this is the rest of my life I'm talking about here. It's like, I think I can afford $29 to find out if this is going to help me. This is like the future of me and my family we're talking about. It's like, I need to give it a chance. And I think it's just about being open to a change. And if you're looking for something new already, then you're clearly already partially ready to receive that new information. And I think it's just to sort of remain open-minded, but emphasis on the open. You know, if you don't trust first, you're not going to receive any information back. My main shift I've found is that in opening up myself, realizing that I've actually got nothing to lose, that's when I receive back. It's like, if I open first and give some of myself, allow something in, then that's when things start to change, when opportunity starts presenting itself to me and I start to realize what's possible. And I think that's the main thing. I would just advise whoever to be open-minded and just take it at your own speed and stay in touch with the support network that's available for you, to, as in the community, to yourself, for instance, for your members, to iron out those things that you're not sure about. Ask questions, because we're all, as you mentioned, not here in competition. We're all here for each other. And that's the beauty of it. We're a network of leaders. We've all got our own interests at heart, but at the same time, we're all here to help each other as well. And we're all independent people not looking to control anyone but our own destiny. And the only way to do that is to help each other out. And that's what we're all here for. So.
Excellent. Okay, well, it's been great to talk to you today, Andy.
You too, Rob. Nice one, man. Thanks for having us on, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sure, we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
Later. Bye.
See you, man.
Bye.